Hey guys, Jason here. Welcome back to another video here on the second channel, and welcome back to another episode of JoJo Yep. So today we will be talking all about part 5, of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I finished part 5 last week, and I meant to do this review like a week ago, but I just never got to it. I already started watching part 6, so I already kind of know some of the stuff that happens, and, well, we'll talk about that in the part 6 review. Without further ado, let's actually get into the video. So, I guess first I'll talk about, what should we talk about first? Because part 5 was just an awesome part. The more I watched, the more it became my favorite part. Before it was part 4, but especially once I got to the second half of part 5, for me personally, it just became my favorite part so far. You can't really go wrong if your favorite part's part 4, that's good. If your favorite part's part 5, that's also good. If your favorite part is part 7, which I haven't got to part 7, but I've heard it's really good, and it's everyone's favorite part. If your favorite part is part 7, well, that's good too. I haven't gotten there, so I can't judge that. But it might be my favorite part once I get there, just because I've heard that it's really good. But anyway, back to part 5. So the main Joe, in this part is Giorno Giovanna, and his stand, well, I guess the localized name is good, but also, Golden Wind or Golden Experience, really doesn't matter, they both sound good. I like Golden Wind, I personally like Golden Experience, I like them both. Speaking of, I was kind of wrong. I said something in part 4's video that wasn't really correct. I thought that Giorno's theme was a part 5 intro, and I stand corrected. I don't know why I thought that was an intro, but it's not. But anyway, Golden Experience, Golden Wind. Love his stand. Then we have, who are the other characters? We have Bucciarati. We have, Narancha, Fugo, Abacchio, and, Trish. I think that's all of them. Giorno, Bucciarati, Abacchio, Fugo, Narancha, Trish. I know I'm forgetting one. I know I'm forgetting one. Why am I forgetting a character? In the main group. Oh yeah, but Polnareff, but you'll see him later. I swear Mista. Dude, why did I forget his name for a second? Anyway, they have some pretty cool stands. So I guess I'll go through their stands now. I'm not going to say the localized names, because some of the localized names suck. Mista's stand is Sex Pistols, which basically he can shoot bullets, and, well, the localized name is 6 bullets, so it's 6. Fugo's stand is Purple Haze. We only really get to see one fight with his stand in the entire part, because of something that happens later. We have a Abacchio stand, which is Moody Blues. We have Bucciarati stand, Sticky Fingers. We have Giorno stand. And then we have Narancia stand, which is Aerosmith. And Aerosmith I like Aerosmith. It's a pretty cool stand. Also a pretty cool band. You can see all the band references now. Aerosmith is, basically, he can, shoot down, people, and he has radar that is used to track their breathing and stuff. Yeah, that's their stands. Oh, yeah, I forget anyone? Polnareff, but we'll get to him later. So, basically, the whole story of the part is, there's not really that much of a plot like there was in part 4. It kind of feels like part 3, but done, like, way better. So basically, like, there's this gang, called the Familia, and when they meet up, they're all originally part of that group. Giorno becomes part of the group there's, like, this test he has to take, and eventually he ends up defeating, what's his name? Popo. I forgot what his stand was, though. But anyway, he takes his test, he becomes part of the group with all these other people. All the people I just mentioned. And basically, they're on a quest to, basically find the boss's daughter and protect her at all costs, which is Trish. So they go through, and during that mission, there's several stand fights that happen. There's the Tiny Feet stand fight. There's the Mirror World stand. That's the fight with Fugo. There's also the aging stand. I forget what the name is. And then there's White Album, which is a stand that basically turns everything into ice. And you just gotta watch it. It's something else. It was a really good fight. I also really liked the Tiny Feet fight. I thought that was really cool too. Also the Mirror Man fight. And I don't remember every single part 5 fight, but I know like a lot of the early fights were actually really good. Then there was the one fight, I don't know what fight it was, but the fight where Giorno, it was at the very beginning, it was the fight where Giorno turned the shoe into a fly, and then yeah, I don't remember what that fight was, but it was at the very beginning. They were on the boat, and the whole train fight, like with the aging stand, and there were a couple other stand fights on there too. Dude, that was awesome. I love the train fight. But basically, I mean, the way that, even though part 5, I would say is my favorite part, I kind of like, I like the style of the story in part 5, and where it's, oh yeah, we gotta hunt down the boss. Kind of a little more than I like the part 4 story. That's kind of why it's my favorite part too. I don't like the way that they implemented the story, kind of like during the fights though. because it was kind of weird. It was kind of strange how they did it, because you would be in the middle of like a fight of a stand fight, and then boom, it would just be like a cutscene to a story of someone. Which with Abakio's death, which we'll kind of get to, but that didn't really happen. But I found that happened a lot with like other things. Like stories about the boss's daughter and everything else, which we'll learn later that she eventually acquires a stand. Spicy Lady is the localized name. I don't remember the actual stand name, but basically that stand can turn objects into elastic, which she acquires it later in the part. So that doesn't happen till later. And well, what is the next thing that happens? So we had the train fight, the ice man fight, and then basically, what happens is they find the boss, which we'll learn is Diavolo, the villain in this part. And basically, well, the whole thing with this gang is, the boss rather, is that they need to keep the identity of him secret. So no one in the group knows who the boss is. And so they carry out this mission of bringing the boss's daughter, to the boss. And when that happens, a little fight ensues with the boss. We find out what his stand is, which is King Crimson, and then eventually we find out his true identity. And after this fight, and this is why we only see one fight with Fugo, is because basically the whole group, well, it was kind of Bucciarati, because he was kind of the leader in this group. It kind of, throughout the whole part, especially toward the second half of, like, part 5, it kind of felt like Bucciarati was more of the main character than Giorno was. It kind of felt like Giorno wasn't really the main character. But what happens is, basically, Bucciarati and the rest of the group, they make up a plan to betray the boss. The only person that doesn't come is Fugo. Some of them are kind of reluctant at first, but eventually they're all down, they're all into it. So, and up to this point, I think it was like episode 22. That whole day, I just kept binging and binging and binging, because I could not stop. Because we'll get to the final fight, which is, yes, it probably does not top the Dio fight, but it's still really, really good. Which we'll talk about. Because we get introduced to a new concept that only shows up in part 5, or at the end of part 5, and only at the end of part 5, I believe. So, what happens is, they basically, make out this whole thing to betray the boss, and basically, it comes back to who wants the arrow. And if you don't already know the arrow is, we'll go watch like part 3 and part 4. Basically, just to explain it, it's basically how you acquire or how you give someone a stand. So, basically, I mean, Dioval's goals were kind of like the same thing as like Dio's goals. And he kind of has a lot of similar mannerisms to him like Dio. He's like, he wants the arrow. And basically, well, the group doesn't know it at the time, but I think, yeah, there's like a couple more fights that happen, and then they go to Rome, because the group doesn't know it at the time, but it's Polnareff, and they basically communicate with him and tell him that tell them that the only way to defeat the boss is to acquire the arrow, because his stand is so powerful, because King Crimson can stop, it's not stop time, it's not like the world, it can see into the future, and so what happened is, well, they went to Rome, I think at that point they basically discovered who Dioval is, and then, well, it was almost time for the final fight, but there was kind of one problem, is basically, so what happened is, and this is when it starts to get really, really strange. So what happens is they find the arrow, they meet with Polnareff, they had this turtle, and basically the significance of the turtle up to this point was to transport, Trish, it was kind of like their transportation, I don't know how to explain it, it was kind of like their, I don't know, but it was always there, ever since they, found out, like, who the boss, well, not found out who actual Dioval was, but found out, their mission that they originally were supposed to, take, with the boss. So it's kind of significant in that sense, but what happens is they're using this turtle, and what happens is the boss, or Dioval, well, I don't even know why I'm still calling him the boss, but Dioval is still there. He's there. They and everyone else is there. But he gets there before. He gets there before Polnareff does, because they got. I think they were like meeting in the Colosseum. So they eventually meet in the Colosseum and find the arrow. But the arrow has so much power that it basically transforms, or it swaps people's souls out of their bodies, and then puts them, and then it switches them. So it has all this power. And so what happens, I don't remember who gets switched with who, but I think Giorno gets switched with Narancia. Some of them still had their stands, some of them didn't. And basically, all the people that were kind of in sight of the arrow get switched. So Bucciarati got switched with the boss. Oh yeah. Kind of a little side note, but I forgot to mention Abbacchio's death. I kind of like the way that they kind of approached, like they kind of, where Abbacchio's death was kind of like just boom. It was kind of just sudden. Because I remember he tried to use this, I remember what it was. Right before he tried to use his stand, Moody Blues, to go back in time to, because basically his stand is he can go back in time and then play a recording of what happened back in that particular time. He tried to go back in time to try to figure out who the boss really was, and, well, it worked, but of course the boss was mad, so he got killed. But anyway, back to the arrow. So no one knew what was happening, and this is why I just kept watching and watching. I couldn't stop at this point. So no one knew what was happening, up to that point, and what happened is Polnareff got switched, or basically how this all went down is Polnareff, I'm still kind of trying to figure out how it all went down, but I think I know basically how it all went down. Polnareff was trying to, his stand, Silver Chariot, wanted the arrow because of all its power. And what happened is it got a hold of the arrow and turned it into the concept that we call Requiem. So now the stand is a Requiem, which is even more powerful. And basically a Requiem gets hold of the arrow. And once you get hold of the arrow, you turn into a Requiem. Or the stand, rather, turns into a Requiem. That meant for Polnareff, he was the turtle now, and he was no longer a stand user. So it's weird, because usually in JoJo, all the stand users, basically if you're no longer a stand user, you're dead, because your stand is your soul. But for Polnareff, it was different, because Silver Chariot turned into a Requiem. So, Silver Chariot had the arrow as well as King Crimson. We were trying to fight them both. You had Silver Chariot Requiem and King Crimson. And, well, what happened is, didn't they, eventually they defeated Silver Chariot Requiem, so it was between King Crimson, Giorno, and, who else was involved? Well, Polnareff was kind of just there, and then, mostly, Diavolo and Giorno, of who was going to get the arrow. Well, and I think Misa brought out his 6 bullets. I like the way, his stand, interacts. It can, talk and stuff. Come on, number 5. And, another thing to mention about Mista is he hates the number 4. Absolutely despises it. So that's why with his stand, Sex Pistols, there is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Skip the number 4. And there's so many moments in the show where he just gets so mad over the number 4 because to him it brings it bad luck and stuff. Anyway, back to Requiems. So I don't we still we have a basic idea of what Requiems are, but I don't know, even to this day, they've only really come up, or that I've heard anyway, that they only really come up in Part 5, or at the end of Part 5. They don't really come up anywhere else. And so, we have a vague idea of pretty much what they are, but we still kind of don't know. But basically, what happened is the arrow, once Silver Chariot Requiem was defeated, it was time for the arrow to choose someone else who their stand would become a Requiem. So, basically what happened is, well, Giorno, the arrow chose him, and, King Crimson was trying to do his thing where he could, see into the future and everything else during the whole fight. And I love, oh yeah, Trish was involved too. Because basically, like, the whole relationship, up to that point, once, because Trish wanted to start being part of this group, because because she didn't really like, Diaval, her father. So she didn't really like her father, so she wanted to be part of this group. And I love the line, like, in the middle of the fight, I think it's like the beginning of one episode, Diaval was just like, like, Trish says some comment or something, and Diaval was just like, "You silly girl, I wish I never would have brought you into this wretched world." And it's just like, damn, dude. Like, like, I know you want the arrow that bad, but you don't even love your daughter anymore. Like, but these are how these villains get. But, I still wouldn't think it beats the Dio fight, but it was definitely better than Kira. Well, Kira, like, his whole personality, like, my favorite villain in the show so far. But, like, when it comes to the fight, though, I would say part 3, part 4, part 5, out of these 3 fights, worst to best, Kira, Diaval, Dio. And then, but yeah, so the arrow chooses Giorno, and, basically now Giorno has this power, well, he has, like, his normal power of Golden Experience, but he has Golden Experience Requiem, and basically this is the way that he defeats Diaval, by using Golden Experience Requiem. And it basically, he's dead now, but what it does is it puts Diaval into a, like, I think it was like a time loop where he has to, experience different, like, deaths, or he has to experience death for an infinite amount of time. So, yes, this show now is getting really, really, really strange, like, but it definitely was really awesome. It was really fun to watch, especially, like, once I got to the later half. I could not, like, when I got to, like, episode 23, 22 or 23, because it's 39 episodes, I could not stop watching. I just kept watching and watching because I wanted to finish it. Like, it was so fucking good. Like, I could not stop watching. And it's probably, like, from what I've heard, this is probably not even the best part. Part 7, which I'll talk about, when I do that review. But right now I'm watching part 6. And yeah, so that's basically part 5 review. There was a lot that happened in it. It's my favorite part now. Oh yeah, we got to see the Metallica stand, in part 5 too. I completely forgot about that. I just had to mention that because they're one of my favorite bands. But yeah, we definitely got to see the Metallica stand, which that was also really cool too. But yeah, Requiems and stands, and that's crazy how, like, Requiems, or from what we know, like, they only show up for a quick minute. Like, we don't ever really see them that much again, and we just see, like, different concepts, which, there are some different concepts that I will talk about when I do the part 6 review. that have to do with stands. And then, well, part 7, I won't even get into that. All I will say is that in part 7 that there will be a new power system, which if you've already like watched, or if you've already like read all of JoJo and know everything about JoJo, you'll know what I'm talking about. But for the people that don't, or are just watching the reviews, stay tuned for that, because that we will be diving into in part 7. I don't really know much about it, but I've heard about it from my friends, and it being combined with stands is apparently like really awesome. So yeah. So yes, that is JoJo Part 5 Golden Wind. That is my review. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel and my main channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.